After years of college memories fading into the backdrop of their busy lives, 10 old friends, Rohit, Mina, Rajesh, Sonakshi, Priyanka, Reddy, Mary, Anurag, Basu, and Soni, finally decided to reunite. Their plan was ambitious, a 5-day deep trek into the rugged beauty of the Himalayas. Excitement coursed through their veins as they made arrangements, recalling their youthful dreams of adventure. The journey to the base camp was grueling but rewarding. Towering peaks, crisp mountain air, and camaraderie brought a sense of accomplishment. That evening, they celebrated their feat with a lively party. Hard drinks, loud music, and a roaring campfire. Laughter echoed in the cold night as stories of old pranks and new experiences filled the air. As the night deepened, the group began to tire. One by one, they retreated to their tents until only Rohit, Reddy, and Mary remained by the fire. They chatted and laughed, the crackling flames their only company. Then they heard it, a faint, guttural noise from the darkness beyond the camp. At first they dismissed it as the sound of the wilderness, but it grew louder, more unsettling. Rohit, ever the curious one, decided to investigate. Ignoring their protests, he ventured into the shadows with a flashlight. Minutes passed and he didn't return. Reddy and Mary assumed he had gone to bed. By dawn, the serene camp was shattered by Mina's panicked screams. The friends stumbled out of their tents to find her standing near a horrifying sight. Blood-streaked snow, bits of torn clothing, and, most chillingly, pieces of human flesh. Rohit was missing, and what remained of him was scattered gruesomely across the snow. Fear gripped the group as they struggled to process what had happened. Reddy and Mary confessed to hearing strange noises and seeing Rohit wander off, but never imagined it would end in such horror. Panic set in and arguments broke out. Some wanted to abandon the trek immediately, while others insisted they stay together and wait for help. As the day wore on, an oppressive silence settled over the camp. By evening, shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally long, and every sound made them jump. That night, something attacked again. This time, it was swift and brutal. Rajesh and Priyanka, who had been standing guard, were dragged into the darkness before the others could react. Their screams were cut short, replaced by an eerie silence. The group, now dwindling, decided to flee at first light. However, navigating the treacherous mountain terrain with their dwindling strength proved almost impossible. The creature, whatever it was, seemed to be toying with them, leaving traces of its presence, claw marks on trees, distant growls, and glimpses of glowing eyes in the night. One by one, the friends fell victim to the unknown predator. Sonakshi disappeared during a brief moment of separation. Basu, in a desperate attempt to save himself, slipped and fell into a deep crevasse. The group's sense of unity dissolved into paranoia and despair as the survivors turned on each other, suspecting sabotage or betrayal. By the 5th day, only Mina remained alive. Bleeding and weak, she had witnessed her friends being picked off one after the other. The once joyful reunion had turned into a nightmare beyond imagination. Driven by sheer willpower, she stumbled her way down the mountain, leaving a trail of blood in the snow. When rescue teams found her, Mina was on the brink of death. She spoke incoherently of a shadowy creature stalking them, of blood and screams, and of a curse upon the mountain. Her account was met with skepticism, dismissed as trauma-induced hallucinations. Months later, Mina was discharged from the hospital. Despite her physical recovery, she bore deep emotional scars. She refused to discuss the trek, her memories locked away in a vault of terror. But the legend grew. Locals began whispering of a vengeful spirit that haunted the mountain, punishing those who dared to disturb its solitude. Mina, now the sole keeper of the truth, knew better. It wasn't just a spirit. Something real and monstrous lurked in the shadows of the Himalayas, waiting for its next unsuspecting prey. Mina tried to piece her life back together, but the horrors of the trek never left her. Nightmares of the creature haunted her sleep, and she often woke up screaming, her mind replaying the grotesque scenes of her friends' deaths. Therapy offered little solace. As weeks turned into months, she became obsessed with finding out what had happened on that cursed mountain. One night, while scrolling through obscure forums on the dark web, Mina stumbled upon a thread discussing mysterious disappearances in the Himalayas. Others had reported similar encounters, unexplained noises, mutilated remains, and glowing eyes in the darkness. But one post stood out. A user named Shadow Seeker claimed to have survived an attack by the same entity. His description matched Mina's experience down to the smallest detail: the guttural noises, the glowing eyes, and the systematic hunting of a group. The post ended with a cryptic note: "It's not what you think. It's not a creature. It's us, something we become when the mountain claims us. The truth lies in the blood." The cryptic message gnawed at Mina. Could the creature be a twisted version of her friends? Was the mountain cursed to transform those it killed? Desperate for answers, she contacted Shadow Seeker. He responded quickly, agreeing to meet her in a remote town near the base of the same mountain range. When Mina arrived, Shadow Seeker turned out to be a gaunt, hollow-eyed man named Arjun. He explained that he too had lost friends on a trek years ago, but unlike Mina, he had witnessed the transformation. The creature was one of his own friends, a man named Kabir, who had gone missing on their first night. Arjun revealed a horrifying theory. The mountain wasn't cursed, but alive, feeding on the fear and despair of those who ventured too deep. It corrupted their minds and bodies, turning them into predators that hunted their own. The process wasn't instant. It started with paranoia, then hallucinations, until the victim lost all humanity. As Mina and Arjun delved deeper into the mystery, strange things began happening around them. Mina found herself waking up with scratches on her arms, though she had no memory of injuring herself. Arjun confessed that he sometimes heard whispers calling him back to the mountain. The truth hit Mina like a thunderbolt. The survivors weren't immune to the mountain's curse. They were carriers of it. Mina started noticing subtle changes in herself. Her appetite waned, replaced by an unsettling craving for raw meat. Her vision sharpened at night, and her reflection in the mirror seemed off. Arjun, too, exhibited similar signs, though he dismissed them as paranoia. One evening, Mina caught herself standing over Arjun with a knife in her hand, though she had no memory of picking it up. The realization sent her spiraling. The mountain hadn't just scarred her, it had planted something inside her. Mina and Arjun decided to return to the mountain, hoping to destroy whatever force had cursed them. Armed with weapons, cameras, and tracking devices, they retraced Mina's steps to the base camp. As they ventured deeper, their bond began to fray. They argued, their paranoia escalating with each passing day. On the third night, Mina woke up to find Arjun missing. Following his tracks, she discovered him standing in a clearing, his eyes glowing faintly. He turned to her, his voice a guttural growl. "It's too late for us, Mina. We're already part of it." Mina realized the truth. The mountain didn't just create monsters, it made them fight each other. The curse wasn't about survival, it was about ensuring that no one left alive or sane. In a heart-pounding confrontation, Mina was forced to kill Arjun in self-defense. As his lifeless body slumped to the ground, she felt the mountain's hold on her strengthen. The whispers grew louder, urging her to stay, to embrace what she was becoming. But Mina fought back. Using the last shred of her humanity, she planted explosives she had brought along, intending to destroy the cursed area. As the charges detonated, the ground trembled, and the mountain's unnatural presence seemed to recoil. Mina barely escaped the blast, stumbling down the slopes to safety. When rescue teams found her, she was barely conscious, muttering incoherently about the mountain. Months later, Mina sat in her apartment, staring at her reflection in the mirror. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Despite her best efforts, she hadn't escaped the curse. Her phone buzzed. It was an email from an unknown sender. "You can't destroy the mountain. You are the mountain now." As Mina stared at the message, a sinister smile crept across her face. The transformation was complete. She wasn't just a victim anymore. She was the hunter,